Hi guys, my name is Toby. Welcome to the second episode of adding student data using Yajra data table. So in this second episode, I'll be showing you how to edit student information using Boostrap Modal. So let's start coding. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will really appreciate it. So now, from our controller in the previous class, we created a view student class, so where we fetch all the information from students from our database here. So if we refresh, we have two names. So let's go back. So what it means is that we select every data from the student, and then with this row function we are going to call the ID. So I'm going to paste this little item code here. So we save it. So once we save it, and then with this help of with this edit underscore student, which I'm going to use to create a JavaScript function in our dashboard. So let's create another script. JavaScript code here. So let's save this. So what we are saying is that once you click on edit student from our controller, come here, issue display the attribute of the ID of that particular class, which is this row ID, which is ID number 1, 2, 3, depending on the student ID number. So let's go to our dashboard. So let's input alert student underscore ID. Let's save it. Let's go to our project. Let's refresh. You can see it's populating the ID of 1 for this particular student. You can see Adebayo is 1. So if you click OK, if you click on Adejon, you can see it's populating the ID number for 2. That's good. So next thing is to go back to our code. Let's delete this, and I will paste another line of code where we are going to display the student information, and at the same time we are going to input some Bootstrap model HTML tags that will display the student information. Okay, so I'm going to paste this line of code within this code. So you can see on click we have override this URL, this student ID, with this route that we are going to create in our controller. And then so basically what we did here is to use another variable to write this particular student ID to concatenate this the class name and the student ID using get method, and you can see URL equals the URL, the route, and we are using get method, the data type JSON, and this async false is for us to be able to populate data, images. So we are going to create a model get edit for an ID for this model. So using Bootstrap model. So using Bootstrap model. So let's copy and paste that in our source code here. Let's paste it here. Okay. So let me make this screen to be big. So if you don't know about Bootstrap Modal, you can go online and learn about Bootstrap Modal. So it makes your code manipulation very easy. Instead of taking you to another page, everything will be happening on the same page, and you're able to manipulate or use your application in an easy manner. So now what we have just done here is to create another form, HTML form, using Bootstrap model. So you can see the Bootstrap class which with the ID model get ID. So copy, you can see here we have what on clicks student edit student. So the moment we click it, it will redirect us to this particular route which we are going to create in our student controller. And we said once he was able to get the information, it will populate it in this Bootstrap get edit model, where the last name, the first name, the gender, and the student image is going to display. Okay, so let's save it. So don't worry, you can download the source code from my description. Now to save time or to use it for whatever you want to use it for. So let's go to our route. We are going to create the edit. So I'm going to paste it here. Edit student ID, student controller, edit student ID. You save it, and then you go to your student controller where we are going to create a class for that. Public function So let's save it. So I'm going to paste this line of code in this edit function. Yep. So what we just did here is to create an array. We set a variable to student, db table student, where student.id equals this ID from our route here. This ID. So go back to our class, our controller. So we said he is able to fetch this information if this line of information is correct for each as well. So we loaded all the information into an array with the image You can see the image source. I had to hard code it. If I have used base path or public path, the image won't show except you are on live server. So since we are using localhost, and from my experience, um, assets URL only work with blade.php, but it does not work with the controller. So I had to add code our image slash thumbnail folder in our public folder, and to link it up with our route. I will to link it with our image. Sorry, which is this display. So that is that. So let's go back to our VS Code, and then this is the hidden name of the file, and then that is if there is no class name here, we should display this. So, and we use JSON to send it back to the view, and that is it. So you can see, just follow this line of code. So after that, you save it. So go back to let me see. Okay, I'll click edit student, go and click. You can see that reminds me, we use DB. So since we are not using eloquent database function, we are going to implement the use of DB at the top of our code. If not, it's going to display error. So this is that. Let's save it. Let's go to our web browser. Let's refresh. So then I did not define. So let's go to our base code. Let's stop our server. Let's use PHP attrition optimize. Let's restart the server once again. Let's refresh. Okay, now everything is back to normal. So let's click on edit. Oh, you can see our student ID is populated, last name is populated, the first name is populated, the gender is populated, and the image is displayed. Good. And if you want to update, you want it. So let's click on cancel. So let's go back to our VS Code. So what we have done here is to populate this array code, because this is representing this last name will ID, this will ID. So we have initialized it with an array variable. So and we are populating them using JavaScript and populating it using Boostrap Modal. So you can see variable.data, last name, first name, gender, and student image too. So be careful of these things. They are case sensitive. I use capital letter here. You might try to use small letter, but if you come to my source code here, having my controller, you can see it is capital letter. It is capital letter. So you can change it to first letter. It doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is anything you are using here must reflect in your view. So you can see we have ID last name, we have ID first name, ID gender. So if we go to our Bootstrap model, you can see we have ID for last name, ID for first name, ID for gender. So if you don't put the ID tag, the information will not display on your inside your Bootstrap model. I think that is clear. So next thing now is to update the information. The student information. So let's create a new route here. Let's save it. Let's go to our route, copy and paste. You change this to post. Okay. Update student. Copy and paste. Copy and paste. Copy and paste. Save it. So come to our controller and create another function class public function update student. Okay, let's save it. So I'm going to insert some line. So I'm going to paste the code there. Yeah, for authentication I'm going to use request. Save it. Now let's go for validation. Since we are using the same validation code, we copy it. Copy. Paste it. So I'm going to paste this line of code to save time. I will explain. Okay. Explain. Good. Alright, so let's save it. So what you have just done here is to check if the user is going to upload student image. If you come to our view here, we have student image in our Bootstrap model. So if you come to our home page, you click on edit. So the moment you click on update, what it's saying is that if you are selecting new image to override the existing one, so the moment you choose another image file, what is saying here is that the moment you select student image, is going to process that image and put it inside this folder. So, and it will update the last name, first name, and gender and image using the image name extension we have created here. So what we have done here is that if image is selected, it's going to perform this function to this particular length. But if image is not selected, because sometimes you might want to edit just only the last name or the first name without change the image, so it's going to process just just the last name, the first name, and the gender. Hope my explanation is clear. Alright, so I've saved it. Let's refresh. Student update not defined. We do the normal stuff. I don't know why it's doing that, but once it happens like that, just stop the server, use PHP optimize, restart the server, and then let's refresh. Okay, so before we do anything, let's go back to our code. So we are going to write a message button. Just copy this one, paste it here, return student info updated successful. Okay, let's move this one up. Let's refresh once again. So another thing, let me explain. Since we use request here, after the validation, this is validation. I've explained this. Once the user select image, is going to process it into this particular folder and then update all the details for this particular field names. So here we said ID, variable ID equals request ID. So we come to our view here, you can see we have our ID, which I put in read only, what name IDs. So because that is the ID of the student, which is this one. So what we are saying here is that if ID equals request IDs, we said update last name, first name, gender, and image where student.id equals 1, because the ID equals 1 from our view. So we now said, okay, update the last name, first name, gender, and image where the ID equals 1. Same goes to this as well. But the difference between this and this is when the user want to change image, is going to affect the image column. But if the user is not changing the image, then it's going to affect just the column. I think I've made myself clear. So let's save it once again. Let's come back here, let's refresh. Let's delete. That is it. Okay, let's update. You can see the image field is required is because we did not select the image. Okay, so let's select the image. Let's use this. Let's see. You can see 24 updated successful and the image has changed, and you can see either they have been encrypted as the last name. So yeah, for the previous error that shows that the image field must be selected. So what we are going to do here is just come here, remove the image validation from required. Okay, yeah, so let's refresh. Let's update it back to Adebayo without changing the image. Let's see whether it's going to save. Okay, I know where the problem is. So now we copy this ID outside the curly bracket. Okay, let's save it. Let's refresh. Let's reload. Let's see. You can see it is working perfectly without changing the image. You get. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to my channel. See you guys next time. God bless. One love.